when the fire came up over, we heard from our wildland fire expert. He was watching the video too. He said these were spot fires, and it was all caused from our afternoon thunderstorms. The winds blew the embers right over there.
55 miles an hour, and that's why, by and large, this is again taped. We saw these two individuals running towards a pair of horses that were in the area. We don't know if actually those horses got out of the pens, but this is dated material, about 2 hours old at this stage.
Yeah, it's hard to get. This is how quickly this is going. We have to call this dated. This was just a couple of hours ago. That's how quickly this has developed, and this fire has come up over the hill. The pre-evacuation notice again came in around 1:40, and by the middle of the afternoon, Incident Command's news conference, the City of Colorado Springs Emergency Director broke into that and said that this was now a mandatory evacuation. That was at roughly around 4:30. Now we see what has happened since then, Matt.
Yeah, James, I have several friends that live on that side of town, and here's a picture from that area as the fire was coming into the neighborhood, and I'm talking to someone on Facebook right now that knows of a friend as well that lost their home on Flying W Ranch Road. So when you know someone personally and you know what they've put into, you know, building their life, it's tough to start hearing this sort of thing. So
yeah,
not good.
Let's go out. Do we still have Mindy on the line? One of our producers, she is out there as well in the area trying to get out of that area. She was on Centennial, and I think that we have Rachel out there as well reporting live from Garden of the Gods in Centennial. Do we have either of them on the line right now?
Okay, we have an evacuee. Tell us your name and tell us where you are. Mindy is on the phone. Where are you?
An evacuee. How did you have to leave work to go out there?
Trying to get out to where Rachel is. As I was heading farther up north and east, they just kept closing the roads on me as I was arriving.
Yeah.
And so I got put through all the clothes, and actually, the cars, I mean, it's literally a parking lot. People are getting out. People are starting to drive off in random places. I actually, in my SUV, hopped a couple cars and went out the back way, so I'm out of the parking lot, but still trying to figure out how to get over to Rachel, but it's just a zoo. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, this is the time, Mindy, where, as you know, you're in the news business. You were here just a little bit ago. The incident commanders and the fire managers and the authorities want everybody to remain calm. Don't panic. But as you can tell now firsthand, as so many of our crews can, hard not to panic when you're in this situation. But again, try to remain calm and keep your wits about you. And we can see, have they turned Centennial yet into a one-way? We were hearing that they might do that to try and get people out.
Yeah, towards Garden of the Gods. Centennial is now one way. Just an update from the Mount St. Francis Nursing Home. This is in the Peregrine area. Residents there are being moved via ambulance and van to safer ground. That is good news there. Some are headed to Penrose, others to area nursing homes. Once they're settled in, families will be notified by phone on how to find your loved ones. But their main priority right now is the evacuation effort. They don't want anyone headed up to the Mount St. Francis area. Do not go that way. It will only put you in more danger. But the evacuation effort is going smoothly and safely right now. They do have enough people to help volunteer their time and finish this move safely. So again, an update from Mount St. Francis Nursing Home. Those residents are being moved out very safely and securely. They will contact you, the people at the nursing home. If you have loved ones staying there, the nursing home itself will contact you and let you know where your loved one is now.
All right, some good information there, and that is good to hear. Let's go out to Tom. We want to leave Mindy now, let her focus on driving to get out of there. Let's turn our attention to Tom now. He joins us on the phone. Tom, where are you evacuating from?
I'm evacuating from Mountain Shadows, right next to Trailblazer Elementary, which is near Wicks and Centennial.
Yeah, did you see the fire from where you were when you got the evacuation notice?
We couldn't see. There was so much smoke. We couldn't see anything. It was just an orange sky.
Yeah, now Tom,
a lot of ash was coming down out of the sky too.
and Tom, to see this thing actually encroach upon our homes and our neighborhood, tell us what you saw, maybe the received reverse notification? Walk us through this timeline if you could.
Well, I got pre-notification and left my job around 1:30 this afternoon. And prepared to pack.
Good. That is good. That's how I think that we're hoping that's what a lot of people did. They got this pre-evacuation notice, and even though they say it's only on standby, you at least were able to get that gave you enough heads up to get home.
Yeah,
But when you saw how quickly this moved in, I mean, I think everybody was completely surprised by this. What were you thinking when you saw the mandatory evacuation, and where were you when that happened?
well, I was at home actually watching the 4 o'clock briefing on TV, and I was under the impression I thought we were going to have 2 to 4 hours of time to move out. I mean, we were moving, but the speed that it moved in was just amazing. How fast it moved.
And we're looking at some video from earlier when that started cresting the hill and burning down the hill into the Mountain Shadows area. We had a crew up there, and they're like you trying to get out of there, and they ran into some traffic, and we checked back in with them, make sure they're safe as well. But whereabouts now are you, and what's the traffic like where you are?
Actually, it took me probably an hour to get close to Woodman. I came down Vindicator to Delmonico and then down on Woodman. I'm heading east. I actually just made it to Union and Woodman, so I'm moving pretty well right now. But I was surprised by the number of people heading west up on Woodman from I-25. I don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
What was running through your mind as you saw the city's emergency management director interrupt the news conference to say we have a mandatory evacuation?
Time to go. We started packing the truck, got the dogs, and we're heading to another house on the east side at this point.
Yeah. Where are you headed now, Tom? I mean, the question has to be asked. Where are you going to go?
I have a friend's house that we're headed to over in Sefton Hills.
Oh, good.
Okay, good. So you do have a place to spend the night. And do you have any pets that you're taking with you?
Yep, I got 2 dogs in the back seat. And one other thing that really surprised me, as we were getting ready to lock the doors of the house, the power went out.
So they cut the power out.
Yeah.
I guess the surprising thing, were you surprised at how quickly in between the pre-evacuation notice came and the mandatory evacuation? Because generally, we've had a lot of people under a pre-evacuation notice for a while. You didn't even get the voluntary evacuation. This jumped right to get out.
That's exactly right. I was shocked at how fast it moved. I think everybody was in the area.
Yeah, we were too. Watching this thinking, oh, well, it's not going to go all that fast going down slope, but that was not the case today. It really took on a life of its own, this fire, and essentially it wasn't just hot fires, it was an entire wall of flame. It really causes people to be anxious, myself included.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much, Tom, and good luck, and be safe out there.
Guys, I got 3 things to talk about right now. Eric Singer lives on the east side of Centennial in the Pinion Valley neighborhood. He has been mandatorily evacuated.
Oh, really?
And obviously why? Because of the fire moving through Mountain Shadows. A couple things that I want to let you know about. There are at least 20 estimated homes in Mountain Shadows that are on fire in the vicinity of Flying W, which we have been talking about. The flame front has gone through. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think that initial sort of wall of flame has moved through that area. The fire department is making a stand at Flying W and Majestic, and I want to show you right where that is. Flying W Ranch Road, sort of snaking through Mountain Shadows. Here is Majestic, which is kind of right in the middle of the neighborhood. Chuckwagon, if you remember, here at Chuckwagon in Centennial was sort of that north-south divider as the fire got going. Majestic is just south of there. And then I just got thrown another note that homes on Wilson Road we can confirm have been lost, and Wilson Road is a little bit higher. So here's Centennial. We'll fly you up into Wilson Road now, sort of on the most northwest part of the Mountain Shadows neighborhood. Wilson Road is right here and sort of snakes back up toward the foothills. At least on that road, we can confirm that homes have been lost, and that information is still coming in. So obviously, Colorado Springs Fire Department doing some significant work in that neighborhood right now.
We're just getting word now. A lot of this, just to let you know, is coming from emergency dispatch who are in contact with firefighters on the scene out there. So some of this, it has not been confirmed. But we do want to let you know that the latest we're hearing is that there is a second flame front that may be coming through. Firefighters could be abandoning their
go faster because we had one less car to worry about. But yeah, breathing a sigh of relief that we are on the other side, on the east side of I-25. Let me just kind of show you kind of the scene behind me. It is just, I mean, smoke covered all to the west. There is a lot of traffic heading north on I-25. I can imagine a lot of those people in those evacuation areas are just trying to get as far away as they can to safety.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of traffic to get out of there.
And Jack, when we have you on the split screen with the video that was you guys from the scene where you guys were earlier, when they were under the mandatory evacuation, walk people through it again. Roughly, the mandatory evacuation came down at around 4:30. The pre-evacuation came down around 1:40. We sent you up there at around 1:40 to go talk to people, make sure they were safe, make sure they knew what they were going to need to take with them under that pre-evacuation notice. You got up there, and within a matter of just a couple of hours, this is what happened. How quickly, firsthand now, can you tell people that this fire came over that ridge and burned down?
James, yeah, we arrived in that area. We were stationed at Woodman Road and Orchard Valley Road around at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when we started talking to people out there, and they were asking us just if they were on a pre-evacuation warning. At that time, we told them yes, that they were. They were asking us, what do we bring, what do we take with us? And it was an hour later that they said they started seeing the flames coming over the ridge, and I think we waited maybe about 45 minutes once that evacuation order went into place to get out, and it was, I mean, it went from about maybe 5, different fires across the ridge to it being just consuming that whole, side that we were looking at, and because there was so many trees in that area, it just raced down the mountainside, and there was some rocks kind of in one area, and that was one of the areas that seemed protected a little bit, but those thick forests, all of those trees were going up in flames, and we were talking about how high we would estimate the flames being probably at least 100 feet in the sky, and it just raced down so fast, and that's when the smoke just took over the area, and it was overwhelming, and the winds were incredibly strong, and I'm covered with ash already in the car. I was trying to actually wipe the black flakes off my face, but I wasn't really doing very good because I had it all over my hands also. But yeah, if you look back, we're looking back west, from the east side of I-25, and it's just a haze of smoke right now, Heather and Jim.
Please interrupt you really quickly. We got a call from Dr. John. He lives up in the Rock Rimmon area. There is now a mandatory evacuation for those of you in the Rock Rimmon area, and we have the request, an urgent request from Springs Police and the Sheriff's Office. Please keep your wits about you. Drive safely. Drive slowly. We have cars that are overheating. Check your thermostat. If your car starts overheating, shut it off. Pull off to the side if you can. We just need to have everybody get out safely.
Again, Rock Rimmon area is under mandatory evacuation orders. We're also being told if you're going southbound on I-25, you can no longer exit onto Garden of the Gods Road. Again, if you're headed southbound on I-25, you cannot exit onto Garden of the Gods. That exit is now closed. So once again, just to tell you, evacuations now in the Rock Rimmon area. Our own Eric Singer called and told us that the Pinion Valley is also under mandatory evacuations, which is, of course, in that same area of Rock Rimmon, just northwest of Woodman Valley Road.
It might be a good time now with all these evacuations and the congestion. Can we bring Joel Navarro back, our KRDO News Radio traffic expert, and maybe he can let people know where the backups are, if there's congestion, less congested areas, places to go to get around it. We do know Centennial is now a one-way.
Well, the problem is on that side of town. I mean, it's a mountain. The roads are down in the drainages, and there's only about 3 ways out of there. There's Woodman, there's Rock Rimmon. Rock Rimmon is a big horseshoe, which basically is Woodman on the north end, Rock Rimmon on the south end, and then Centennial.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 ways out of that side of town, because Youth Valley Park is in the middle there, and so that makes getting out of there pretty difficult. In fact, you can sort of see, let me get my map here. I have so many things in here at this point, but that's just a bit of a logistical issue at this time, guys, because there's 3 roads on the entire north side of town is trying to get out.
Do we still have Rachel out there? She was over at Garden of the Gods in Centennial, I believe.
Rachel Shigley.
We're going to check in with Rachel in just a little bit.
And we're going to get Joel Navarro. He's our traffic expert. News radio.
I'm going to do 3 things, and then I'm going home. So let's
They're mandatory evacuation as well.
Yeah, here's the problem. You have Centennial coming out of the Mountain Shadows. You have New Valley Park right here. So you have Rock Ribbon and you have Woodman. That's it. So you have all of these neighborhoods to the west of I-25 and south of the Academy trying to get out of 3 roads right now. 2 things I want to show you. This isn't from the Broadmoor Hotel. This is from Monument. We're looking on that part of town. The smoke is definitely coming up from there where we do have flames. And I want to show you this from the Broadmoor Hotel. The foothills are right here, so this is the main smoke plume right now. And look at that, it looks like an atomic bomb over town because there's so much heat heading up through this. It's like punching through the atmosphere a lot like a developing thunderstorm, guys, because that part of town has some fires ongoing right now.
Just for clarification,
We're going to let Matt go. He's checking with his family down there.
Rock Ribbon area, yeah, they're now
What's that new information? From the Air Force Academy. Pine Valley Housing. You are under a mandatory evacuation at the Air Force Academy.
The police can't stress enough. Do not drive into these areas. You're making it worse.
Let's go to the phone right now. We got Robert. He's being evacuated. Robert, where are you and where are you being evacuated from?
Currently I'm safe. I'm actually in Seven Hills. I was evacuated from Upper Paragraph, off of Blockage. There's Upper Blockage, Lower Blockage, and when we wrapped up, we rolled basically saw the flames coming over from a video earlier. You showed a farmhouse with some fences up there, boys running around. Flames had come down quite a bit more than what was shown on the video, but it was easy for those coming in, and we basically grabbed what we could. Luckily there was kind of a pre-jump the gun position of evacuation earlier in the weekend on Sunday, so we were all ready to go. We could grab the last few things we could shove in the blood. It was memories, so we just got those headed down into the traffic onto the bumper pretty much from Woodland Elementary all the way to the freeway, and it was literally people were letting people in and just trying to get out all over the back, but when it's up there as well, so the block is right here. Well, I'm with the trees and just papers in that fire on my house. We did see the flames are shooting just to the south of the block trip that kind of went on the bridge up there, but and we're coming down towards that one house where basically continuing with it.
Look, we're getting this in just now. Springs Utilities has shut off all utilities west of Centennial between 30th and Allegheny. Springs Utilities just getting word out. They have shut off all utilities west of Centennial between 30th and Allegheny. And back to the phone now. And where are you going to stay?
We're going to stay out there in Centennial. We're pretty sure our property over there St. Francis down in the valley there. And we're pretty sure that we're going to be out for a while. We're coming in pretty hard. I would say for all firefighters up there, we're up there trying to hunker down and trying to save property.
Stay safe, and our Godspeed to you, our hearts and our prayers go out to you. I just want to get some new information out for people who may be listening also on the radio. We mentioned not a long time ago that the Pine Valley housing on the Air Force Academy was now under evacuation orders for people living there on base. This is where you need to go. This is according to the Air Force Academy, John Van Winkle, who is our liaison there. If you have not already made evacuation arrangements, you're being told to go to the main gate, Gate 1 of Fort Carson. Again, some different military assistance here. This is for people who live on base at the Air Force Academy, the Pine Valley housing. You are being told to evacuate. Just identify yourself as a resident evacuating for the Air Force Academy, and from there you will go to the Special Events Center. They're on post at Fort Carson, so you're being told to divert south there to Fort Carson, to your Army comrades, and the center is obviously a gymnasium-type facility, so you should pack some limited baggage for the minimum requirement of 3 days. Again, this is for the people who live on base with the Air Force Academy. You are facing evacuation orders if you live in the Pine Valley housing. Go down to Fort Carson and report to the main gate. That is Gate 1. Identify yourself as a resident who has been evacuated from the Air Force Academy. So you'll then be taken to the Special Events Center. So that's just a heads up for those who are now evacuating the grounds on the Air Force Academy.
Yeah. And we want to go back now. One of those pictures that you're looking at right there, down at the bottom right-hand corner, that is from Garden of the Gods at 30th. Rachel Platt is out there. And have they shut down that section of the road, or has everybody just gotten out? I don't know if we've heard that, Rachel. Well, maybe we don't have Rachel. Okay, we don't have.
These are new mandatory evacuation orders. This is just now coming in from El Paso County. This is the official source from Rock Rimmon, Woodman Valley, Canyon Valley, and Pine Cliff. Again, mandatory evacuation orders for Rock Rimmon, Woodman Valley, Canyon Valley, and Pine Cliff. This fire is proving to be very aggressive. Please do not go back into those areas. Just to give you a better perspective of what those neighborhoods and where they lie, Rockrimmon and Woodman Valley, this is west and north of Woodman Road and I-25, also west and north of Rockrimmon Boulevard and Vindicator Drive.
Yeah, Pinion Valley and Pine Cliff, west and north of Garden of the Gods Road and I-25 to Centennial, north to Ute Valley Park. This mandatory evacuation order remains for all of Cedar Heights, Mountain Shadows, Peregrine, and people are asked to leave the area immediately, and you may not return home. We're going to get all this, of course, on KRDO.com and on our Facebook page, KRDO News Channel 13. But right now, what people could really use is thoughts and prayers. And if you want to help, redcross.org, they are going to be inundated. There are going to be a lot of people needing help. redcross.org, Care and Share, Salvation Army, those are the places to go if you're looking to help. And remember, everybody, try to remain calm. Yes, this is a natural disaster, but we want everybody to be safe.
Yeah, that's right. And we want to remind people, if you don't have a place to go, if you don't have friends and family to stay with, if you're coming out of those evacuation areas, the Red Cross shelter has set up down at Cheyenne Mountain High School. That is off of Cresta. And we're being told, now this is a change, this is a recent change, residents can also bring small cage pets and like cats and dogs to the shelter. So that is something new, a change there from the Red Cross. Of course, the Pikes Peak Humane Society is also taking in animals, so you can drop them off there. They definitely have room there. That is a headquarters here off of 8th Street. It's just adjacent to Walmart. That is the Pikes Peak Area Humane Society.
Yeah,
also, if you have larger animals, such as livestock, the Penrose
I
Equestrian
can't
Center
get
is
to you
also
now,
sheltering
so
large animals. They do have room to house.
they shut Garden of the Gods down. Okay, all the well, Garden of the Gods right now is a parking lot. They got all lanes going eastbound. They shut everything down. Everything's going east right now, trying to get everybody evacuated. They lost several homes up there right behind the where the Flying W Ranch is up there. They lost several houses. So it's closer than you think. So you might want to tell John just to get everybody out. I can't hear you. Yeah, it was cutting out when he was talking. So what are you guys gonna do? You gonna get out? Okay. I'm gonna probably have to get a hold of Bowater and Paul, because I don't have Paul's number. They may not be letting anybody in that area after dark. Westbound everything is completely shut down at Garden of the Gods and I-25. So they're making everybody go east. They're not letting anybody come west. If you guys need to get out, then get out. You know, let John know, just get out. Because they lost several houses over by Flying W Ranch back there. And they're actually on Flying W Ranch Road putting out houses. Or the firefighters actually had to leave because it was firestorming on them. Yeah, so. Okay. Ask John if you need to take the computers out of there, if you just need to unplug the security computer and the door computer. Yeah, or just leave the door computer alone and just grab that security computer with all the files on it, or just get out and leave it.
hands in hand to make sure the community is safe and that all of their needs are met.
All right, Kathy Barty, thanks so much. And we want to get over now. We want to let you go. We want to get over to Commissioner Sally Clark. And Commissioner Clark, thanks so much for joining us. And boy, I don't know. This came out of the blue. I think everybody was shocked by this. Our thunderstorms that we get in the afternoon really caused this thing to get out of control today, and it happened just so quickly.
Commissioner, are you there?
Waldo High School, and the big wind got started coming, and it was out of control pretty quick. And I think that just one of the messages I'd like to get across to folks is, please, if you're in one of the evacuated areas, and I think you've been posting them very well, the Rock Rimmon, Woodland Valley, Pine Cliff, Cedar Heights, Pinyon Valley, and Pine Valley housing at the Air Force Academy. Obviously, Mountain Shadows already under mandatory evacuation. As now, get out. Don't wait. Just back up a few things and get out, because these things happen very, very quickly. We saw how quickly the fire moved last night. We tried to kind of explain that to folks, that these restrictions are put in place to protect people, and people are more valuable than property, and our firefighters' lives as well. So,
Commissioner Clark, what can you tell us about Flying W Ranch?
I've been seeing what you all have been reporting. I do know that I believe that the fire is there, and I don't know exactly whether the structures are all fully involved. I can't give you that information. I can tell you that a small animal shelter has been set up at Freedom Financial at the Expo Center there on North Nevada. So if folks have small animals and they don't know what to do with them, please, you can take them there. I think you just had the Red Cross on, so they were talking about those other facilities that have been opened for the evacuees. And, essentially to let everyone know this is serious, but we are going to pull through this as a community, because we have a lot of resolve and everyone is pulling in the same direction. But what I would say to the public is we need to cooperate with those that are professionals who know the behavior of fire, and we need to be calm, and we need to be thoughtful, and we need to be, pulling together, because people tend to get emotional and don't want to leave their houses. If someone tells you to leave, you've got to go.
All right, Commissioner Clark, thank you so much, and great reminders. We will pull through this. We are hearing now from the Colorado Department of Transportation, southbound I-25 is now closed at Interquest Parkway. Again, I-25 southbound closed at Interquest. This is coming via Colorado CDOT. So if you are, in the Pine Valley residents who are being evacuated off the Air Force Academy grounds, exit through the south gate area in order to have the least minimal impact to traffic. Again, southbound lane of I-25 from the south gate exit is open to traffic. However, just that coming down here from CDOT, southbound I-25 closed at Interquest Parkway.
Yeah.
That's a huge closure right there.
And talking about this fire on the west side here, a lot of you are asking us if any homes have been lost. Well, to tell you the truth, we don't have confirmation from authorities at this point, because they're out there busily trying to save homes. But we do know that what we have heard that homes have been lost.
We've been focused on here for a couple days. You see Centennial Boulevard right here. We take you up into the northwestern part of that neighborhood at Rossmere and Flying W, which is right in here that you're looking at. The northwest part of that neighborhood, there are currently 35 houses on fire up in this area. All of these homes that really are the extreme part, that west part of Mountain Shadows, that butt right up against the foothills up here and sort of look back down onto the rest of Mountain Shadows. 35 houses right now.
And Matt, right now we have Sonny Smaldino with the Colorado Springs Fire Department on the phone, and Sonny.
Better view here, sort of orienting a little bit differently up into the northwest side of town there, and that fire coming into the Rossmere Flying W Ranch. We've had reports of 35 houses that are on fire in that area, guys, and so we did learn today, if we had any question before, how quickly it can move and how fast things can change. We've been talking about those isolated gusty thunderstorms, and boy, did the one that fired up off to our northwest become a big player in the Waldo Canyon fire, and now in the history of Colorado Springs on this Tuesday afternoon.
Well, it certainly did, and we recorded gusts up to 55 miles an hour. Matt, you showed that on all your weather maps. Shortly ago, we got off the phone with Sunny Saldino. She's with the Colorado Springs Fire Department, and she did confirm that some structures have been lost in this, unfortunately.
She didn't have the exact addresses, but
address or number of homes or buildings that might have been lost due to this, but it can be pinned on that very strong gusts of wind that happened there around 4:45 this afternoon. It just came racing down the mountainside, down the front side of the Front Range. And we heard about those mandatory evacuations earlier about mountain shadows through Peregrine. That has all been expanded since then to include a large portion of the northwest side of Colorado Springs. So, you know, they threw every resource at this as possible, but literally, according to Sunny Smaldino, there was no stopping this thing.
Yeah,
and that's a direct quote from her. No stopping it. And no matter what amount of resource he would have thrown at this, it just was impossible.
Yeah.
Given the wind shifts and the velocity that it was coming down the hillside, it just was impossible.
Yeah, and we talked to the head of the U.S. Forest Service earlier today before all this happened, and you know, he reminded folks that this is the #1 priority for wildfire protection in the country, and we're seeing why. And you're seeing exactly how dry it is, the warnings that the firefighters have been telling us to tell you about, that we've been telling you for several months, just how dry it is. And we have the Type 1 wildfire management team out here at Incident Command, and they are the best of the best. And so that's why they can safely say, the Springs Fire Department and others can safely say, there was nothing stopping this thing. And here's the video from Mountain Shadows when it crested that hill. We had a crew up there to try and talk to people and make sure that they were safe, because earlier at about 1:40 the city had issued a pre-evacuation notice for the north side of Mountain Shadows and Peregrine. So we went up there to make sure everybody was okay, make sure they knew what they needed to do, and within a matter of a couple of hours this happened.
Yeah, you know, sadly, it is, I need to bring you this updated information. This is a Facebook post coming from the Flying W Ranch, and I quote, "It has been a blessing to serve the community and our nation for the past 60 years. We ask that you pray for the Wolf family and all the families in Mountain Shadows. Our hearts go out to you, Colorado Springs. We will rebuild in time." The thought is, the Flying W Ranch is no longer.
Yeah, we had heard.
Wow. That's really sad to hear.
We heard this earlier.
Yeah, that it would be threatened, and that coming down from the Facebook post of the Flying W Ranch. Boy, this is just such a game changer for our community.
Now we have the confirmation, essentially from Flying W Ranch. It has both.
Hard to hear. We are hearing that the
Wow,
fire is
that's
now
scary.
crossing
Flying W Ranch is gone.
Bedrock.
Historic Colorado Springs landmark is gone.
Down westbound Garden of the Gods. We've told you about that
Dear
this
Jesus.
afternoon. But you know, if you're headed southbound I-25, you can no longer exit onto Garden of the Gods. This is something that's just so devastating for this community. It's hard to keep it together, you know, as a broadcaster, as someone who lives here.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was a lot different when it was up in the mountains where no one lived.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure is. If we could post up some, pardon me, punch up on camera when you're directly affected by this.
Unprofessional here and getting too emotional over
Yeah,
this.
but it's, I think we're acting human.
I'm just going to hit you. You know, as we've talked about this afternoon, it kind of is surreal because we've been in the studio all day seeing these live shots, and we've seen You know, this is a video that our crews have been bringing in. We're a little bit isolated here in the studio, but to know that it's taking out such a mainstay, such a part of our character here in southern. It is part of us here in southern Colorado. This is a live look. Where are you coming from, Marie? Could you tell us? Okay, Garden of the Gods at 30th.
I'll pull it together here for you, folks. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Again, the Flying W Ranch issuing a statement tonight saying they were glad to serve the community and they will rebuild.
Yeah.
This right here, the fire moving down Centennial and Garden of the Gods. We have had crews all over this fire since the beginning, and fortunately this is...
Centennial and Garden of the Gods right here. I'm not sure what this building is in the foreground. I'm a little unfamiliar with where our live shot is directly, but we'll work to get that information. Oh, that's Goodwill building.
Goodwill building, looking to the left, looking to the west. Okay.
Okay, we have...
Let's get you these evacuation orders. We pull ourselves together here, not the evacuation, but the evacuation points, because we know there are a lot of you out there that are in much worse condition than we are. We just have to report this. You are living through this, and well, Matt's family as well. They've been evacuated, and we have several employees here who've been evacuated.
Yeah, directly affected. According to scanner traffic, this is really unconfirmed. When we hear it come across our scanners, that's just sometimes initial reports. So this is unconfirmed again, but the fire is now backing down off of Blodgett Peak into Peregrine. So yet more areas being affected by this.
And we have Rachel Plant right here now, ready to report on this area. And this is the fire coming down again.
Going to reposition here, so excuse me.
Building where they're standing, and clearly, Rachel, I'm sure she can't hear us. Looks like she's trying to get a mic check going right there and make sure that she's ready to go. Down here to have her IMB, which is our earpiece set up, so we'll get that set up with her.
Here's another offer from a church that's offering shelter. This is at the East Side Church of Christ, and this is located at 5905 Flint Ridge. That is located near Dublin and Union. They have capacity for about 100 people. Again, let me give that to you. Church of Christ on the East Side Church of Christ, 5905 Flint Ridge. That is near Dublin and Union. They can accommodate about 100 people. You know, we're looking at roughly, and this is a conservative estimate, about 12,000 people affected by this.
I think it's probably more than that, because it was the 12,000.
That's at least.
Yeah,
at least.
And then it's expanded. When they did the mandatory, or when they did the evacuation earlier, it was at 12,000. They've expanded quite a bit since then, and we're still trying to get
it looks like a structure of some sort.
Oh, let's go right here. Is this Rachel? Are you out there? This is 30th and Centennial. This is a tragedy right here. Do we have Rachel? She's right there near the scene. Rachel, can you hear us yet?
Guys, I can, while we try to get her, if we, I'll go over to the wall, guys, and let's take you up into that side of town with what you just reported, that, and we can see that the fire is moving down Blodgett Peak up into Peregrine. We'll very quickly, or do a split screen maybe, as we look at that structure right there.
Okay, hold on, Matt.
Yes,
we have Barrett. I think he's out there. And,
live right there.
What is this,
Barrett?
a home? Is this a building? Do you know, Barrett?
It's very hard to tell, but it sure looks like a home, because we have not moved at all. We're still in the Mountain Shadows area. That would be west of 30th Street. The closest street to us is Flying W Ranch, but it's kind of looking straight ahead. I unfortunately don't know whereabouts in the subdivision it is.
Now okay, we're being told that, Barrett, that yes, indeed, you're correct. This is a house.
Colorado Springs fire crews are really caught between a rock and a hard place, because they can't really attack these offensively anymore. This is such a huge disaster that they're simply really being forced to look at this defensively and just prevent this from spreading. They've let a lot of homes just go. We don't know the exact number of the homes or structures that have been lost in this. We just got off the phone with Sunny Smaldino with Colorado Springs Fire Department. She didn't have any estimates as far as my phone's ringing here. Maybe you can take over, James, for a second.
This is out near Garden of Gods, 30th and Centennial.
Do you guys still have me on?
Yeah, you're still here, Barrett. Can you give us a better location of this?
You know what? We are facing, so we're facing west. Denny, my photographer's name, it's just a little north of 30th. And I can tell you, just to give you a little background, actually, very large ash is starting to fall from the sky right now. We've heard probably for the last hour or so very loud popping noises happening all in the Mountain Shadows area, just to give you some perspective. And actually, you can start to smell this fire. It's starting to drift its way over here. And like I was saying, there's very large pieces of ash that are falling in the sky right now. It was really calm here for about 45 minutes. And now this.
Yeah, we can see this home here has burned, and the fire department, Sonny and Smaldino, told us that we've been hearing the dispatches between emergency dispatch, and this fire was too fast, too big. Firefighters, at one point we had heard, essentially just had to flee. They had to run to save themselves, and that's the situation we're in. You save lives, then you save homes. And unfortunately, this home right here, one of what is sadly going to most likely turn out to be many, has burned. And we have had reports of up to 35 homes, and we had the report just a little bit ago, confirmation from the Flying W Ranch. They have burned over there.
And James, also just to just to reiterate something, probably in the last half hour there have been 3 or 4 people trying to come back to this mandatory evacuation area, and police are being very quick to say, stay out of this area. This is not a good idea, and they are zooming back and forth on 30th, trying to stop people from coming in. So if you do want to come back, don't come back. Police are really urging that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what all of the authorities have been trying to get that word out. You're not going to be allowed back in. Don't go back there.
Not worth it. But just to recap, Flying W, we had read a Facebook post from them, and it's just such a tragic circumstance here. Just to read that.
Yeah, been in the community 60 years and known around the world. Just a incredible
Such a great place to go for family fun, entertainment. You can go there for a dinner, and really just a great place to take all your friends and family and just love. This area is kind of defined by it. The bluegrass music that they play there. But this post coming from their Facebook page from the Flying W Ranch, quote, "It has been a blessing to serve the community and our nation for the past 60 years. We ask that you pray for the Wolf family and all the families of Mountain Shadows. Our hearts go out to you, Colorado Springs. We will rebuild in time." This is when we see the strength of our community in a disaster like this. We've seen for the past 4 days, so many of you step up to the plate, so many of you saying, how can I help? But this is really where we see the strength of our community. We will come back from this, you guys. This is not something to panic over. It's hard to not be overcome with emotion. As you just have been listening to us, we really... this is where we call our home, and it's hard for us to see this happen too.
And there, Flying W is adjacent to what we told you about 10 minutes ago, that there are 35 homes on fire at Flying W and Rossmere. Rossmere actually hooks up with Chuckwagon, which takes you right into Flying W Ranch, so that is all the same area. And from what Barrett said, it seems like this is a little farther south than that. Tough to tell. That's pure speculation on my part, excuse me. But while we watch that, for the folks in Peregrine, we wanted to show you some of our mapping, guys. If maybe we could split screen it and just take you up from Mountain Shadows, where we're seeing this home burn right now, a little farther to the north by about a mile to a mile and a half. And look at the Blodgett Peak area. If we just drive up Centennial, where it turns into Woodman up in the big curve up there, here's Blodgett Peak right here. And the fire, the report now, it is backing down that into the Peregrine neighborhood. They do have everyone out of the Mount St. Francis Center. I don't know if you guys reported on that or not, but I did see that. go by a couple times, and you know, a lot of people, this is where a lot of military people have retired after having served our country, grabbing a beautiful spot on God's earth, so you don't like to see it moving closer to yet another neighborhood on the northwest side of town.
Yeah, and this one again, right up there, Barrett Tryon is out there at the scene. Barrett, you were saying that the smoke really drifting in that area. Are you seeing firefighters rushing up to that area or rushing away from that area at this point?
You know, I would say like maybe 10-15 minutes ago there was a huge rush, and then since then there hasn't been a lot of activity. Denny is, my photographer, is scooting over, and you can see there appears to be something else going on. There's large black smoke. That would be closer to kind of 30th and Centennial, but still off in that direction of Mountain Shadows. So if you're familiar with the area near that farm crest, but quite a ways back, maybe closer to is that Chapita Elementary that's back there? It's hard to tell because I'm on the ground and
it is.
He's on the roof
back there.
But there's definitely smoke starting to billow, and it's moving pretty quick to the south, and that smell of smoke is still in the air.
Yeah. Barrett, just to remind viewers and the people listening on KRDO News Radio, which is 105.5 FM, 1240 AM. We're also streaming live on KRDO.com. You can also download an app from the iPhone iStore. What am I saying? iTunes Store. Sorry about that. And you can find us on KRDO News Radio. It's available for Android and also iPhone. But southbound I-25 is closed at Interquest. Again, southbound I-25 close to Interquest Parkway. No traffic is being allowed on I-25 at Interquest. In fact, that includes Briargate Parkway and also Academy Boulevard. All southbound ramps, however, are open from Woodman Road south. Northbound I-25 remains open, so there is a bit of relief there, but it is directly impacting traffic with that as well. So maybe as an alternate route, you could take Highway 87. You can also perhaps veer off at 105 there at Monument. So there are some alternate routes here. Looks like, what is this live shot that we see more fire on the hillside?
That's the same shot.
That's the same shot. It's my shot. It's the house.
You know, it's not like a normal house fire where, you know, part of it's on fire and they can come in. Because this is part of a larger wildfire, the heat that came down the hillside with, you know, just so much, almost like spontaneously combusting things, if you will, or as that flame wall went through, just instantly lighting the entire home on fire, as you see there. And I don't know what type of helicopter that is, if that's part of the incident team doing a little bit of work to try to actually figure out, you know, where they do have fires and where they don't. But, you know, obviously they're still working hard.
Yeah.
You know, just to bring you up to speed on some evacuation shelters, for those of you who are just now joining us, I want to go over those once again. There are 3 evacuation shelters in southern Colorado due to the Waldo Canyon fire. I'm going to list those off for people just now joining us. Again, one is at the YMCA off of Jetwing Drive. That's on the south side of Colorado Springs. The more direct address there is 2190 Jetwing Drive. Again, that's the YMCA. Also, Cheyenne Mountain High School, that is off of Cresta. That's also on the south side of town. The third is on the western side of this massive wildfire. That will be at Summit Elementary. That's up in Divide. So this obviously impacting so many communities. The biggest area of which is greatest concern, it's so densely populated, the northwest side of Colorado Springs, and that's where we've just seen this fire literally explode and race down the front range.
Guys, you know what was just heard on the scanners was if we're going to save structures, we need a lot more resources.
Yeah.
We know that other agencies along the front range are coming to the aid of Colorado Springs Fire, but obviously it takes them a little bit of time to mobilize and then just to physically drive here.
It does.
So we got confirmation that Pueblo Fire is coming up. Right now, by the way, you're looking at a shot from the south side of town, essentially where this fire is, over here on 8th Street. Near 8th Street and Cimarron, you can see just the haze and smoke in the air that has just filled the air, and just a complete tragedy that's happening in our community.
It really is. We do have mutual aid requested. At last check, James, you just mentioned a lot of folks down from the 8 crews, in fact, down from the Pueblo area. That includes the city of Pueblo, Pueblo County, also Pueblo West. Also, Rye Fire Departments were headed up their way. They are due to our area in 1.5 hours' time. They should arrive around 8:30 tonight. Also, Douglas County is getting a lot of phone calls due to this fire related to the smoke. We've heard from a lot of people as far east as Peyton that they are getting heavy ash clouds over that way as well. So a lot of you impacted with those respiratory problems. Our best advice to you now, and this is coming from the health department here in El Paso County, is obviously keep your windows closed. Turn on your air conditioner if you have that to your availability. That helps kind of filter the air out and keep those particulates outside. You want to keep track of the youngest members of our population, also the more elderly members. They are the most prone and susceptible to these bad air conditions, and you know, if you want to just keep tabs of them, if you know of neighbors in your area who might be prone to maybe some respiratory problems like COPD or even asthma, just go ahead and check up on them. This is the time where we need to really band together. You've heard it from a lot of our city and county leaders that this is the time to really come together and watch out for one another right here where we live.
Yeah, we have Jacqueline Roski on the phone, but before we go to her, this from the Flying W area and up Rossmere Drive, the flame walls pass through there. What's happening now is that the fire is igniting from one house to another, and the firefighters on the ground, quote, are calling for mutual aid from anyone that can send it.
This is a sad situation. Let's get you over to Jacqueline Rosti, who was right in the middle of the Mountain Shadows area when this fire crested the hill and came down. It was all started around 4:30. And Jacqueline?
Whitman exit on the east side of I-25. You can see the thick black smoke billowing in the sky, and you can see flames from our vantage point. There are some people out here just kind of in awe of what is going down out here, but certainly scary. I'm hoping everyone that's in those evacuation areas are getting out safely, because it's a scary situation that we are watching here. Back to you.
Yeah, can you tell us again exactly where you are, Jacqueline, what this vantage point is?
Jacqueline, can you hear us?
Yeah,
I wonder if her IFE had dialed out because she started talking over the other James.
I think that's what happened. We had a problem with the system that she listens to us on. Marie, do you know, or Jamal, do you know where this, where their live shot is, where this vantage point is? I think you must be on the line trying to get some more information to us.
Be trying to get some phoners here. You know, at last check, we had those big mass aircraft, and I want to explain exactly what those are. Modular airborne firefighting systems. They were being called up yesterday and the day before. This is a live look from I-25 and Interquest where people are being diverted off. And
we just got the notice from State Patrol and the...
Joe Navarro from, who's keeping tabs on traffic. What can you tell us now?
And that's exactly what we were looking at there. Southbound I-25 is closed between Interquest Parkway.
Hey guys, he's wearing a hardwire too. If you want to start that over again.
We have the Yeah, what we were looking at here just a couple seconds ago, southbound I-25 is closed between Interquest Parkway and Woodman Road. So all southbound...
Hey, Rod, you guys still on site or did you go?
Interquest Parkway, you must travel...
Are you still on site or did you leave? Okay, Flying W ranch is gone.
Avoid everything north of Vindicator, south of the Air Force Academy.
Yeah, burned to the ground. They got 40 houses on fire back in that area.
Some heavier snow. People still dealing with it, especially on the east side of town, Highway 24 near.
There's actually fires on Centennial north of 30th.
We really, people are panicked.
Okay, they've been saying ash. Oh shit, there's another one in town. There's some other ones down in the city. I'm watching from up here. Bad. They said north of 30th Street there's actually like houses.
And really, something like this is so disorienting. In the midst of panic, you tend to lose all wits about you, and which explains why people were driving the wrong direction at certain streets.
Exactly, and another thing too is we're finding people who are going on roads they've never been on before. They may pass over time and time again, but they've actually not been on the roads. And I had a call a little while ago. There are some roads.
There's new fires starting in town. Looks like plumes are coming up.
Right now, a couple of important things to know. There are 8 houses in a row that are on fire, and they're trying to keep the fire from crossing Wilson Road. Then there was a different piece of information that an emergency message was sent to an engine and a brush truck to abandon what they were doing because a flame front, and maybe that's what we're seeing there, was moving uphill at them, and they apparently weren't aware of it. So those folks are in danger right now trying to do their jobs. And I mean, we have to pray for them right now, that they are safe, and that is the #1 priority. We can replace stuff, but we can't replace people.
And remember, while we're evacuating, they're going up there.
That's right.
So this is what we have to remember. We have Springs Police,
Colorado Springs, most listened to morning radio news, KRDO FM Security, Colorado Springs Pueblo, KRDO AM Colorado Springs.
Fire burning down into the Peregrine area. We can only hope and pray that there are no injuries in this, and that keep your thoughts and prayers with the firefighters.
We do want to go to Vicki Sabino. She's on the phone line, and Vicki, you guys know the house fires firsthand. Your son Tyler, just in this last year, was severely burned. He's still recovering from his burns in a house fire. This was unrelated to the Waldo Canyon fire, but it was simply a house fire, and he had been trying to evacuate your son, and I understand that now you yourselves have been evacuated from your home because of this wildfire.
Yeah, from in the Rock Rimmon area, so I only had 10 minutes to get there and get out, and it happened so quick. I was going down Woodman, and I was talking to my mom, and I could see the flames coming over the ridge. So I was up in Lexington and Woodman. By the time I got to the Rock Rimmon area, it was already over the ridge. It happened that fast.
Yeah, and it's a split second time. I mean, when you say 10 minutes, that means 10 minutes time. Sometimes in a moment of panic, your mind kind of plays games on you, and it does a little bit of a time warp, but that is validated by so many different people saying that they had minimal time to gather the necessities and just get out of there.
Yeah, because I had already had things packed prior to this, and I had them in the garage. But literally, I had maybe 8 boxes to put in my truck. I ran upstairs, got all of Tyler's clothing, all of my clothing, got his meds. That was it. I mean, they came through with a bullhorn, said, "Get out now," and it was coming right over the quarry. And it's just amazing how quick it really does happen.
Yeah, so was that they were coming through in their car with the bullhorn telling everybody to leave? That was part of the notice that you got.
Yeah, it was mass chaos. I mean, I did not know. I even called Vida to ask her. And I'm like, and she called me back, and I was like, "Can we get through? Can we get in at least?" And they're like, "For the moment, you can," but it was just mass chaos. Everybody was going every direction, and literally, they probably only had a half hour, and everybody had to get out. My brother tried to get in to get more stuff, but they said, "No, you cannot." And it took us over an hour just to get down Woodman. That's how packed it was.
Just gridlock. Everybody trying to get out of there at once.
Yeah, and I feel so bad for the people who couldn't get back up there to get their things, but, they are just things, and, and we are here, and he's, at my brother's house right now, and, we're okay, but it is, people just cannot believe how extremely fast it happened.
Vicki, thanks so much for joining us, and where are you guys heading, by the way? We forgot to ask. Do you guys have a place to go?
My brother is in Stetson Hills right now, and then my mother, she's in Green Mountain Falls, but they're with my other brother out kind of going towards the Ellicott area.
Oh, so they're there. They were evacuated?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they were evacuated Saturday, so we don't even know how that's going to be either. So
the good news from earlier today was that the winds were blowing it away, so it was at their back, so it looked like they got a lot of work down there.
Right, it looks like I'll be moving back up there.
Thanks so much, Vicki. Take care.
Okay.
Hey, Vicki, by the way, before we let you go, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I know we've followed Tyler's story for quite some time, and just as a side, how is he doing now? Is he okay?
He's doing awesome. I mean, he's taking this okay. I mean, he knows that there's the fire, and I told him, we don't know what's going to happen, but we got pretty much a lot of his stuff out that was donated and stuff, and a lot of the special things that meant something to him. And he still has his stuff with his dad and has a place to go to if things get really worse. But at least I know, he can go and be with his dad.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Vicki, thanks so much.
So let's get you up to Rachel Plath now. Rachel, first question, where are you guys and are you guys safe?
We are. We actually moved a little bit from our original location near Centennial and Garden of the Gods. We have moved a little bit farther to the north and the west. We kind of saw the flames and wanted to get a better vantage point, which we definitely have. You can see a lot of the flames in the background, the smoke kind of billowing out as well. Just moments ago, it looked like this entire area was kind of engulfed in orange, and now we're starting to see some kind of little flames here and there kind of dispersed across the entire area. But I want to show you another area that we're also continuing to keep an eye on. If we sort of zoom out a little bit, follow the smoke a little farther towards the south, you'll see another area that also looks like it is on fire right now, just a little farther towards the south. If I had to guesstimate, I would say that this is probably it's due west of Garden of the Gods, looking right at it. That is an area that we have seen kind of those charts up showing the orange plates here within the past 20 minutes or so. Wind's definitely still blowing pretty hard, and as I mentioned, you've kind of seen every now and again you'll sort of see one of the flames flare up, run a little bit. It's something that I've definitely never seen before, but we're definitely hearts go out to all the people kind of watching this as well. Again, flames kind of rolling through or pointing back south, again, roads to the north where you're seeing exactly what I'm talking about, little flare-ups here and there, and you can kind of tell by the way the smoke is burning. The darker colors sort of indicate that it is just burning up a lot of very, very, very dry ground, causing the black smoke, but we also have the white smoke as well. So, interesting view for your just to the west of Centennial and Garden of the Gods, looking up to the west.
And Rachel, we need to get this in there. We just posted it on our Facebook page. There's a mandatory evacuation order now in place for all areas west and north of Garden of the Gods and I-25, north to the Air Force Academy. The Air Force Academy is also evacuated. Again, a mandatory evacuation order now in place for all areas west and north of Garden of the Gods and I-25, north to the Air Force Academy. The Air Force Academy is also under this mandatory evacuation.
So the new subdivision, correct?
Yeah.
The entire Air Force Academy, not just the Pine Valley housing, which was before, that was the only place that was mandatorily evacuated, but this is including the entire Air Force Academy grounds, correct?
That's what our crews have been told.
Okay. Hey, we're also being told that there are huge pieces of ash that are falling on the east side of Colorado Springs. You're being asked to just stay inside and report any any fires or smoke that you might be seeing locally. I know the area is generally filled with smoke, but if you see anything new starting because of these huge pieces of ash that are floating on the east side of Colorado Springs, do be aware that you're being asked to stay inside. Also, Colorado Springs Fire Department is requesting about 10 more strike teams that amounts to about 50 engines from anywhere to report for structural protection. This is just within city limits, so this is now not only affecting just the Waldo Canyon area, this is now spreading into Colorado Springs proper, into the city limits.
Guys, so the new subdivisions that are included in that, just so we make it clear so people know, is now Point of the Pines, who wasn't in the evacuation before, Pine Cliff neighborhood. That includes the Sunbird restaurant area, the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, and also that area we talked about earlier within the big Rockrimmon Boulevard Circle, the Tamaron and the Gold Hill subdivisions. You guys have all been placed on additional evacuation. It's time to get out and put your plan in place.
Yeah, and although our crews have been told the Air Force Academy was evacuated, I want to see if we can get some confirmation, because we were getting this from the Sheriff's Office has issued the mandatory evacuation order for all areas north of Garden of the Gods, between I-25 and north to the Academy, but we must have gotten confirmation. Everybody can let me know upstairs from the Academy that the Academy is also evacuated. We've posted that online. I just want to double check and make sure that is indeed what's happening.
Right. Also, as far as colleges and universities are concerned,
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and kill the feed here. It's getting too dark, and my truck's overheating. Been sitting here running it for 4 hours, so I got to keep emergency lines open now for evacs at work. So keep us in your prayers, and I hope this helped give you a good view of everything. So I'll be posting some stuff on Facebook later on, so keep in touch.